We're launching next season in the Space Theater with Paula Vogel's Tony Award-winning play, Indecent. It takes as its subject this very fascinating and controversial play by Sholem Asch. It was a Jewish story that was not heroic. It was very realistic characters, and one of the first that showed two women falling in love. It's an incredible race through Jewish history in the early part of the 20th century, and really an exploration of who gets to decide what is beautiful and what is indecent. A lot of folk dancing, folk music, incredibly inspiring, complex, interesting story. Next up in the fall in the Ricketson, we're going to do something we haven't done in a long, long time. We're going to do 2 shows in Rep, and we're going to do 2 shows that nobody else in America has done in Rep before. Henrik Ibsen's A Doll's House and Rep with Lucas Nath's A Doll's House Part 2. It'll be scheduled so that you could see them a week apart, but if you get really excited about the idea, you could also see both in one day. The original, a woman who is in what seems like a perfect marriage, Norway in the 1870s. As the show progresses, she realizes that the marriage she thought she was in is not the marriage she was in and has to completely reevaluate that. It's a seminal play because it was one of the first really strong visions of a woman grabbing hold of her own destiny. Lucas Nath wrote Doll's House Part 2 a couple of years ago. It's 15 years after Nora left, and she comes back. She's older, wiser, a little more haggard, and much sassier. It is a hilarious play, and also a really interesting discussion of gender roles. Around the holidays, we're going to do Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. It'll be my first opportunity to work on Shakespeare here at the Denver Center. This particular play, I think, is probably his most interesting comedy. It's quite hilarious, but it also has a lot of depth to it, emotional depth. It is often about people falling for the wrong person or someone that they never imagined that they would fall for. It's confusing. Love's confusing joy is a phrase that I like to use about it. One of the things I'm most excited about on Twelfth Night is the music. I've invited Tom Hagerman of Devotchka, he's the accordion player, to come and compose the music for us, and it'll be a combination of recorded and live music, so it's going to be pretty feisty. Bonnie Metzger's play You Lost Me will be happening during the New Play Summit next winter. The coast of Newfoundland, about 200 years ago, an Irish ship wrecked, and a young 16-year-old girl, her father, her dog, rescued 160 Irish folks, brought them into their lighthouse, and so we're in that lighthouse, which is now a B&B. And you have 2 time periods, the period of the rescue, and then a contemporary period where her great-great-great-granddaughter, Anne Harvey, is now trying to write a blog to get visitors to come visit the shipwreck inn. This one feels very poetic and lyrical, and I think in a quite beautiful way. We're going to do Tony Manessa's play 2050, which was a Denver Center commission and just was one of the most successful shows that we did in the New Play Summit. 2050, a Latino farmer from the heartland running for Congress the year there is no longer a clear ethnic majority in America. And the tensions that that moment brings. It feels to me like a political thriller with a lot of contemporary relevance. In the spring, a very special event, Until the Flood by Dale Orlando Smith. Dale is an Obie Award-winning playwright. She is a Pulitzer Prize finalist. St. Louis Rep commissioned Dale to go into Ferguson, Missouri after Michael Brown, young African-American man, was shot by a white policeman. And Dale interviewed many different people in that community from both sides of the story. And then she has created composites. She will come and perform the play as well as having written it. And it's going to be a really exciting event. Choir Boy. Terrell Alvin McCraney won the Academy Award last year for Moonlight. He is one of our most gifted playwrights. This play is set in an all-boys private high school, mostly African-American population, and it centers around the a cappella gospel group that this young man is both the star of and kind of the real leader of. And the young man who's at the center of it also has real questions about his sexuality, that in that world, in that context, is not a safe thing to express. There's a lot of tension in it. There is a lot of humor, incredible a cappella gospel music that is just really inspiring. And I think it's a beautiful way to end the season.